Now I'm going to give us a little talk about communicating mathematics in English today. And sometimes I speak in English and sometimes in Japanese, depending on the necessity. So please ask me if you don't understand anything in English. Today, I'm going to give a talk about these topics. The first one is the mathematical object in English, which are the basic things we are going to handle in mathematics, and how to say them in English, like numbers, formulas, and functions, and so on. And the second part, I will give some example of structure of mathematics in English, like definitions or theorems, definitions, 定義, and theorems are 定理, and so on. And the last part, I will give small talk about ideas plus language equals to communication. Now, we are going to the first part, that's saying some mathematical object in English. And the first one is the numbers. Maybe many of you know very well about some numbers, but you may not know a part of them. So let's review how can we say numbers in English. The first one is the natural numbers, that is 自然数. And the second one is the integers. Integers are 整数. And the third one is the rational numbers. These are 有理数. You know 有理数 very well. And also, the 有理数 is also called 分数, which is called fractions in English. And you know that rational number has 分子 and 分母, right? And 分子 is called the numerator, and the 分母 is called the denominator. And there is some special pronunciation of rational numbers with integers. For saying integer, rational numbers with integers in English, there are some special rules. We use 1, 2, 3, the regular numbers in numerators. And for example, but we call denominator the first, second, third, which is called the 順序, order, expressing orders. For example, the 3分の1 called 1/3, and the 5分の1 called 1/5. And how about the numerator increases, like 3分の2 is called 2/3. It's a 複数形, plural form. And there are some other special names for denominator of 2 and 4. For example, 1 second. They don't usually call 1 second, but 1/2. And for 2分の5, they say 5 halves, and so on. And for the number with the denominator is equal to 4, we call 1 quarter. And for 4分の3, it is called 3 quarters. And maybe some of you may know the famous example of the 1 quarter and 3 quarters. This is one. Maybe many of you know that movie film, Harry Potter series. And many of you know that Harry Potter and his friends get on the train called Hogwarts Express at the King's Cross Station in London. And strange thing is that the platform's name, its platform is called in Japanese 9と4分の3番線. How to say in English? Platform 9 and 3 quarters. Maybe it is a good thing to for you. And this picture, I went to the United Kingdom for an international conference in this July. 7月に国際会議でイギリスに行きました。Then I visited the King's Cross Station platform 9 and 3 quarters. It actually exists in the station. But just like this plate here. And many people staying on the line to take a picture on it. たくさんの人が並んでいて、写真を撮ってました。Maybe one of the very famous spot in for tourists in the United Kingdom. But anyway, if you can't remember, if you forget these complicated rules, you can just remember this rule. That is, A 分の B, for saying A 分の B, just say A over B, that's it. Okay, so you can say any rational numbers by this rule. So let's move more. And for saying 無理数 is called irrational numbers, which is very similar to rational numbers. And so including these natural numbers, integers, rational numbers, and irrational numbers are called the real numbers. And we also handle complex numbers, and the 実部 is called the real part, and the 虚部 is called the imaginary part. And for special case, we sometimes use 無限大 is called the infinity. Now we are going to move on formulas. Here is maybe most basic ones, which is arithmetic operations. And here, let A and B be real numbers. The A to B を実数とする is said like this way. Then we can define 子則演算 arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And also, when we use positive and plus 正の数 and 負の数, there's called sign. We use sign 符号. And usually in Japan, the 符号 sign is called plus and minus, but not true in English. In English, they call positive and negative. And plus A, in Japanese, plus A is called positive A in English. And in Japanese, minus A is called negative A in English. So minus is not a sign, but the operator for subtraction. So, and now we take a look at the power, べき乗. べき乗 is called power. And for basic pronunciation, A 2乗 is called A squared, A 3乗 is called A cubed, and A 4乗 is called A to the fourth, and A 5乗 is called A to the fifth, and so on. And basically, A の B 乗 is called A to B. That is another simple rule. And in this case, A is called base, 奇数 is called base, and 指数 B is called the exponent. And here is a logarithm, 対数. 対数 is called logarithm. And let's see, log A, B equals C, usually say in Japanese. And this is said in English by log base A of B equals C. And here, the 対数の定 is called the base. And the 進数 is called the argument. And the 指数 is called the exponent. And also, in the foreign countries, they say these notations called ln b equals c. ln means that the natural log, 自然対数. And the 自然対数 is usually sometimes written in this way. Now, next one is 解乗. 解乗 is called factorial. And some of you said that what do you think about how to say 解乗 in English? And one of you said a exclamation mark. Yes, written letter is the exclamation mark. Yes, exactly. But pronunciation is factorial. This is called the factorial of A. And seki, we sometimes use seki, is called the product. And 1から A までの数の積 is called like this way. The product of numbers from 1 to A. Now, we are going to take a look at the 多項式. 多項式 is called polynomial. Like this. Here's the example of a polynomial, and pronounced as x to the x squared plus 2x plus 3. And here in 多項式, the core is called terms, like x squared or 2x or 3. And for in the core term, or is also monomial, the number 2 is called the coefficient, 係数. And the 単項式 x is called the monomial. And also, x, y, z, hence are called the variables. And let's see about functions. And here, 一般の関数 general functions are called like f of x. And this function is only have a value one variable, so it's called the univariate function. And another example is g of x, y, z. And 多変数関数 is called the multivariate function. But if you forget univariate or multivariate, you can just say function of one variable or function of three variables. So there is an easier way to say something in English. So please don't hesitate if you forget some words. And the 一次関数 is called linear functions, like y equals ax plus b. You know that 線形代数 is called linear algebra. This is why it's called linear algebra, because in linear algebra, we treat or use heavy use of the linear mappings in the vector spaces. And a little bit more things in functions. The 二次関数 is called quadratic functions, like y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. But you do not have to remember the name. Sometimes you just take a look at the textbook or ask for Google. And for other functions, 三角関数 is called trigonometric functions, and 指数関数 is called exponential functions, and 対数関数 is logarithmic functions. And there are some more things like, let's see, intervals and concavity, but we don't have enough time right now, so you can take a look at this sheet afterwards. And like equations and inequalities. And other formulas like not equals to or nearly equal to.